Hey guys, welcome to BOOKMAS. My name is JC. If you haven't seen my face before, welcome to my first ever BOOKMAS video and the first video of BOOKMAS 2023. Now, it only felt right to make my first video, my November reading wrap-up and December TBR, because guys, let's just be honest. We're entering into like the most coziest season time of the year. In the book community, we thrive on comfort. We thrive on safe spaces. And these videos are what we can rely on every single month. From our favorite creators, we know that we are getting that monthly wrap-up and like a monthly TBR. So it is BOOKMAS though. And I felt like it would be wrong if I just sat here and did what I normally do. So this is going to be a little bit different, but here's the timestamp if you just want to know about what I read in November. And here's another timestamp if you want to see me start my December TBR. But in general, we're going to go get a Starbucks drink because one, I can't do a wrap up without it, but two, it's the cozy season. Like Starbucks holiday drinks, they're meant for BOOKMAS, they're meant for Vlogmas, whatever. And also I am going to be doing a kind of different TBR. So I am traveling all of December, and so I have to pack like a month's worth of stuff in luggage. So I have to be selective on the books that I can take. So I want to create various polls on Instagram to at least get your guys' input on a few of the books that I should be taking with me. So we're going to go through that together, and we'll just include the wrap-ups along the way. I promise it won't be crazy, but I figured it'd be fun to just not sit here and hold up a book and talk about it. So let's get started. We're doing this a little bit out of order, but I want to go ahead and get those Instagram polls up now so you guys have plenty of time to vote on which books to choose. So I grabbed my suitcase, so obviously I could put in my Instagram story like, hello, I'm traveling and I need your guys' help on which books that I should be packing. So I'm going to pick some books for you guys to vote on, and let's make some Instagram stories. So I already know a few books that I want to bring with me. So I'm going to put up 3 polls. I feel like these are going to be tough. So first up, I have Icebreaker versus Behind the Net. And I feel like, okay, girl, just pick one hockey romance to bring with you. And then I have these 2 Christmas books. I already have a few selected for a reading vlog, so I excluded those. But I have Meet Me Under the Mistletoe and Snowed In for Christmas as kind of 2 remainders that I could bring. And then this last one I think is going to be very hard for people. And it is Divine Rivals or Powerless. This one I think is going to be hard. This one is clearly lighter as far as my suitcase, but both of these books are raved about by everyone. So I'm kind of excited to see the results of these. Okay, now that the polls are up, we can go get our Starbucks drink. Okay, we're back with the drink. I feel like now we can do a reading wrap up. So, okay, let me get the thumbnail. Oh goodness. Okay, that was exhausting. No one talks about how heavy books are to hold for a thumbnail. There's something about drinking the hot chocolate while wearing the hot cocoa bomb.com from Glossier. Like, it just hits. Oh my gosh. So I usually go over some of my book stats that I like to talk about after I do the wrap up, but I figured I just kind of want to talk about them now. So I read 8 books this month, which is definitely more than I anticipated being able to read. The traveling I was doing really did not allow me to read that much. And then obviously I was prepping for BOOKMAS. So I just, yeah, no way did I think that I was going to be able to read more than maybe 4 books if I was lucky. So with 8, I'm definitely happy. And I read some amazing books this month. So my average rating for all the books, 4 stars. Like what? Like that's so good as a reader. So with that, my total pages that I read was 2,748. Now, I read 2 Kindle books and I really didn't know what to do about the pages. So I just subtracted 100 from each of those to like kind of make it as if they're book pages. right? Like, there's more Kindle pages than a book, right? Like, I'm not crazy. So I read roughly 2,748 pages. Take that what you will. Like all my wrap-ups, I'm going to go through the books in the order that I read them, and then I'll give the rating, kind of what they're about, and then my thoughts. And of course, there are no spoilers in this video. The first book that I read is The Sinister Booksellers of Bath by Garth Nix. I gave this book 3 stars. It is the second book to The Left-Handed Booksellers of London, which I also gave 3 stars. So I obviously don't want to talk about the plot of book 2 because it's book 2 in a series, but I do want to give you a glimpse into the whole universe, you know, the world that Garth Nix has created. I compare these books a lot to Fantastic Beasts because I think that's the easiest connection for people to make and really just understand the world easily. So in Fantastic Beasts, you know, we have the whole magical world that lives alongside the Muggle world, and it's really taking place in the UK, in London. And that's really what this series is. There is the old world that has these various creatures and magical beings, and then you have the new world, which is kind of our reality. So this book is set in what is kind of this alternate London in the 1980s. And you have the left and right-handed booksellers that are the ones that tame kind of that old world from coming into the new world. And occasionally, the old world creatures and beings and everything will kind of creep into the new world. So the booksellers come in to kind of do their job and to kind of fix up the mess and just help tame the situation, keep it locked down, get those creatures back to where they belong, things like that. The left-handed booksellers are kind of the field agents. They're the ones getting their hands dirty. They're out there, you know, going after the creatures and stuff. And then you have the right-handed booksellers that are the brains behind the operation. Their skill set are really just their intellects. So it is a very fun world to navigate. So that's the world that you're getting into. Book 1, the main plot was the fact that you had this college girl that all of a sudden was thrown into this magical world, and she's like, why am I here? Like, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be a part of this world? So she is navigating how she fits into this, because obviously she's like, literally, what is this? Like, I just lived my, you know, Muggle life, and now all of a sudden, what was that just attacked us? So it is a very fun read. It is nothing special to me. I mean, it's 3 stars because I enjoyed the book. I do recommend it, but it was just nothing absolutely special. You know what I mean? I feel like the girlies get it. The next book I read is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I gave this book 4.75 stars. I love this book. I cannot believe it took me this long to pick it up. I'm going to try my best to describe this book without just like talking for 5 minutes because I have no idea how to best summarize this book. So work with me here. But you have our main 2 characters, Jace and Cassie. Now you do get both their POVs, so we love that. Jace is a part of this outlaw family that claims to be the first among nations. Cassie is a member of the Rattan that is the Queen's premier guard. So with Jace, I said that his outlaw family claims to be the first among nations. So obviously that's not how they're seen. So they don't have a great relationship with the Queen that runs all of these various kingdoms. So then you have Cassie and her little group of her guards that are on a mission from the Queen, and from that mission, they need to go through this village. They need to understand this village. And so with that, Cassie needs to kind of have this relationship with Jace. Like, she needs to better understand kind of the ins and outs of the village. So you have this reformed thief, Cassie, who is now a guard. So she does understand this different lifestyle that she previously had. And then you have Jace, an outlaw, and obviously there's this hidden common ground that they don't initially know that they have. And so it is just such a fun story to unfold. This is a duology, so I definitely look forward to reading Vow of Thieves as soon as I can. Like, as soon as I can. Oh my gosh. That's the best way that I can talk about this book without spoiling anything or giving too much of the plot away, because the back does not reveal that much of the plot. So this is what we're working with. If you have had any inklings to read this book, please do it. Please do it. You will not regret it. The next book I read was Collateral by H.M. Hall. I gave this book 4.25 stars, and I actually read this as an art copy, so it was so fun to kind of have that experience with the author, because this is her debut novel. And for it to be her debut novel, like, it was so good. So I'm so looking forward to, like, future books that she puts out, because this one, like, it was successful. It was so successful. And it's also a book that I struggle to explain just because the type of book it is, and I don't want to give away more than I should. So work with me once again. I do have a little bit of like notes on kind of different bullet points about it, if you will. So it is dual POV, and I remember that when I first got this copy, I was like, oh, let me just read the first couple chapters. Like, it is like 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. And I'm like, well, I just want to read the first couple chapters to kind of see what the vibe is, you know? Shouldn't have done that because I read like the first 10 to 15 chapters because I couldn't put it down. Like, her writing was just so easy. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Okay, so it is a very dark book. Like, it is a dark themed book. And the way that I can kind of describe this is like, they have this thing that they call the corporation. And I view it as some sort of secret operation going on in the government that no one talks about. Like, they would never associate it with a government operation. So they call it just like the corporation. And their mission is to extract girls that are being trafficked. And so you have our main female character that is usually working alone. Like, that's her lifestyle. She loves that. I think for like 10, 12 years. And then all of a sudden, she's put on a mission with our guy. And she's like, no, hold up. And so it is Grumpy Sunshine, but she is like the grumpiest grumpster ever. And he is like, he's a sunshiny boy, but like, he's also like, his background's military. So he's not just like this golden retriever, you know what I mean? Like, he's really not, but he definitely has the sunshine characteristics that she does not possess. So it is like this forced proximity situation because they are forced to work together and they have to go to all these safe houses. And oh my gosh, it was just like, for how dark it is, like, they're not happy themes, but like, it was just such an enjoyable read. Like, I really could not put this book down, and I love their interactions. I loved seeing both of their POVs because I just think it helped so much with understanding both of the characters and both their like histories. If any of that interests you, please pick up the book, consider reading it. It was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I didn't, like, nothing deterred me from it. So definitely look up trigger warnings if stuff in books definitely triggers you. But yeah, that's what I got for it. Hopefully that made sense. I feel like I actually did an okay job. That one's a doozy. I need a drink break. Okay, I feel better now. It's like eating a Snickers. The next book I read was Cause and Effect by Piper Rain. I also gave this book 4.25 stars, and I also read this as an ARC copy. The gist of this book is you have two polar opposite people that end up on an unexpected cross-country road trip days before Christmas. Now, because they couldn't be more opposite, like, girl, he's an Army Ranger, I think, and she's a baker. It's so great. It's so great. You get dual POV. It is such a fun Christmas romance. Now, what I think I enjoyed most about it is Murphy's Law is in full effect, and Murphy's Law is whatever can happen will happen, but a common interpretation of it is whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and that is exactly their cross-country adventure. Now, it was such a quick and easy read, and getting both their POVs just made it 10 times better. I couldn't put it down. Like, I couldn't put it down if I wanted to. Please pick this book up. I've never read anything by Piper Rain before. It is a duo author situation, and I definitely want to read more from them. The next book I read is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I gave this book 3 stars. This is my first V.E. Schwab book, and something I really enjoy about it, and something I just don't know if this author always has in their books, but there's just so much art in it. So, like, this is literally the cover inside. And then throughout it, let me just find one. You just have these various art pieces throughout that like make sense as you're reading it. And I just really, really enjoyed it. It just made it like a fun thing to add. Now, like I said, this is my first V.E. Schwab book, so I am like learning about the author's writing. I know so many people love this author, so I look forward to reading more of their work, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this book. And the best way, the first way to describe it, Coraline. Absolutely Coraline. The eeriness of this book, top notch. Like, I wasn't scared or like in any kind of thriller suspenseful state ever, but I just had this overall eerie feeling. Like, 90% of the time. You're following Olivia, who was essentially put into this like all girls school, but like orphanage kind of, when she was very young. Like, she doesn't remember any of her family and such, but she does have this journal from her mother that just has like the letter G on it. Like, she doesn't even know her mother's name, but this journal is just, you know, so important to her. It's kind of the only element of family she has left. But one day when she is at the orphanage school place, they get a letter from a long lost family member that says, you know, like, you have family, come home to Gallant. And in the journal, though, the mom has always said, like, stay away from Gallant. Like, you're safe as long as you stay away from this place. But Olivia's like, this is the only family I have. So, of course, she goes. And the whole thing is she finds this iron door. She wants to know what's on the other side. And so it is just a kind of mystery element as Olivia unfolds more of her family and more of the secrets and more just information about her mom and what her mom has gone through. So this was an enjoyable book. I definitely think there is a target audience for it that so many people would enjoy. It was 3 stars for me. I enjoyed it. It was nothing special. I didn't absolutely love it, but I definitely want to read more from this author. The last 3 books that I'm going to talk about that I read this month: The Inheritance Games. Now, I read the first 3 books in the Inheritance Games series, and I loved every minute of these. I gave each of these 4.5 stars. I love these books. Now, I feel like the girlies get it. Like, I can't pinpoint what exactly didn't make these 5 stars, but 5-star books are just, they're a feeling. Like, you just know, and I knew that these weren't quite there, but they were so close. Oh, these were so fun, and I'm so sorry that I did not pick these up sooner. Now, I feel like once I read The Naturals, I was way more inclined to pick up this first book because I already had this on my shelf, and it's been sitting there for months. It's embarrassing. But once I read this, I immediately went and got the second 2 because I knew I had to read these this month. So obviously I don't want to talk about the plots in these 2 books, but I will give you a glimpse into the first book. So the overall plot is you have Avery Grams, who is a junior in high school, living out of her car, trying her best until like her life is turned upside down in like 24 hours. She quickly learns that she has inherited billions of dollars from a stranger. Avery's sitting here like, who's Tobias Hawthorne, and why did he leave me everything in his will? So the catch is she has to live at the Hawthorne house with the Hawthorne brothers for a year. We love Tobias. I see you. So Avery, of course, wants to know, who's Tobias? Well, why did he leave me the money? And like, yeah, why me? You know what I mean? And also, who's Tobias? The family would like to know too. Like, let's be honest, the family thought they were getting billions of dollars. Now, Avery's in for an adventure of a lifetime because Tobias Hawthorne is one for puzzles and games. Like the Hawthorne Manor, mansion, house, estate, I don't know. But that place, it is rigged with all of these secret passages and clues amongst clues and puzzles on puzzles, riddles on riddles. And so Tobias is just one to set up all those games. So Avery has to navigate, what is the big riddle? This was so fun. Jennifer Lynn Barnes is so smart for creating these books. Like, same with The Naturals in this. Like, the way her brain has to operate to make these, she just sounds so fun. Like, I want to be her friend. Those were the 8 books that I read in the month of November. It was such an amazing reading month. I loved so many of these books, and I can't wait to continue different series, start new books from these authors. It was so good. Like, November was so good to me. I'm going to wait a couple more hours, and then you and I will circle back to determine what the polls say on my December TBR. Okay, the sun is setting, so we got to move it along. But it's been several hours. I actually went and I got my nails done, and I got a pedicure. But the holiday nails, they're holidaying. And it was perfect to do this, of filming day 1 Bookmas. I'm ready for the holidays. But the timing was perfect because it allowed everyone to vote. So let's see which books I'm adding to my TBR. The first one is between these 2 books, the Christmas books, and it looks like Meet Me Under the Mistletoe won, and guys, I was kind of hoping it would, so I'm very happy with your selection. The next one, I believe, is between the hockey books. So, I'm kind of, like, I don't know, I was torn because I really wanted to read both of these, but Icebreaker won. Honestly, a landslide. So I know I'm going to read this. I know I'm going to read it, but December. Okay, and the last one. Guys, I am literally like scared for this one, but it is between Powerless and Divine Rivals. And literally I got DMs saying like, how could you do that to us? And I thought that was just so funny. Whew. Okay, 60% Divine Rivals. Wow. That's like the ultimate test right there. Okay. So those three I am definitely bringing with me. And then the couple others that I want to bring is I currently have the audiobook for Shadow of Night. So I'd really love to get through this month. And I mean, it's a long book. So having the audio alongside will be so clutch. So this is the second book in the Discovery of Witches just trilogy, I think. All Souls trilogy is what it's called. The first book is A Discovery of Witches, which I loved, but it's been several months since I read it. Wow, this book is like floppy. It's a good book. Then I really want to get to Vow of Thieves so bad as well. If you watched my, what is it, weekly reading vlog that I just put up, I just got the autographed copy, so I have the author's signature on this. I want to read this so bad. I want to read this so bad. Oh my gosh. And then I have these two library books that I'm torn because like I chose to get library books right before leaving town, but I have Lightlark and Chaos and Flame. So I don't know which ones I want to choose, but I feel like I definitely have to take one of these. Like absolutely have to take one of them. And frankly, I don't know which one. But that's a later me problem. I can't decide that right now. And then I have some other books I'm doing a reading vlog for, so I don't want to spoil that right now. But this has been so successful. I feel like it was interactive. I loved it. I love doing something a little different from this wrap up and TBR for BOOKMAS, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. That wraps up my first BOOKMAS video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.